पूजा बोला कि शुरू ये सब
With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom.
Folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered and miseries gloom. Okay, thank you.
We start by setting a proper motivation, which consists of 3 parts: what to visualize and how to visualize. Start by visualizing the refuge field. All the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Arya Nagarjuna, Acharya Chandrakirti, in the space in front of us, waiting there with unconditional love, like a parent loves their only child. The Bodhisattva field with the 2 kind parents, mother on the left and father on the right, and all the dear kin sentient beings, leaving none aside. They're joining us in this practice, and here we are leading them and looking upon them with unconditional love. And the purpose of the practice to manifest the Buddha nature, the seed of perfection within us, by removing the 2 mental obscurations, the gross obscurations, afflictive obscurations, and the subtle ones, the cognitive obscurations. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Ganghi tumse nirsomne, tawa thamche pampe chir, dhampe churni gonze pe, Gautam de la tsakselo. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness and no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace which is freed of elaborations. Ganghi tenchin delvarjum, gapa me pa khe me pa, chepa me pa tap me pa, Oma me pa drome pa, thate don min don chikmin, tropa nirshi shiten pa, zope sangye manam ki, dhampa de la tsakselo. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, who through the knowledge of all leads hearers seeking pacification to complete peace, who through the knowledge of paths causes those helping migrators to achieve the aims of the world, and who through the possession of omniscience helps subduers expound a variety of teachings. Nyantha Shiva Solnam Kunshe Niki Nishe Trize Bhayeda Rola Pen Parje Nam Namshe Niki Jikten Don Drugze Pagha Kanga Kyanda Pen Pedub Nam Nampa Kunden Natso Di Sompa Nyantha Jansuk Sempe Sokche Sanghe Kini Yundela Tsatselo. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, Sugata and protector, to you I make prostrations. Siamar Gyurpa Drola Penshepa, Tonpa Deshe Kyobla Tsatselo. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays, to you the Buddha Shakyamuni and make prostrations. Toppe Drava Nam Selching, Zapchinge Che Kunawa, Kuntu Zamp Ozeda, Kunle Trola Tsatselo. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sangye Chodam Sogi Chomnam La Chamjo Bardu Dhage Kyapsuchi Dhage Jinso Gipe Sopnam Ki Drola Pencher Sangye Druparsho Sangye Chodam Sogi Chomnam La Chamjo Bardu Dhage Kyapsuchi Dhage Jinso Gipe Sopnam Ki Drola Pencher Sangye Druparsho Sangye Chodam Sogi Chobnam La Janjo Bardo Dhame Kyapsuchi Dhage Jinso Gipe Sopnam Ki Drola Pencher Sangye Druparsho. Inspired by wisdom and compassion in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetum Tesham Tathagato Hyavadat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vadi Mahashramanaye Swaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetum Tesham Tathagato Hyavadat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vadi Mahashramanaye Swaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetum Tesham Tathagato Hyavadat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vadi Mahashramanaye Swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of the causes as well is taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear light and non-composite. Such is the nectar-like Dharma I have discovered. Finding no one to fathom this teaching, in silence I will retire into the woods. Sapshi Troda Ozel Dumai Je, Dutsi Tabu Choshe Kumone, Sole Shekhan Boar Minupe, Mima Nange Natsune Parja. Beyond utterance, thought and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unseized and has the nature of space. It is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of Buddhas of the three times, I pay obeisance. Masam Jome Shara Parolchin, Makemi Nam Mankaino Boni, So Ram Regieshe Choyupa, Dusum Gyalva Yumlat Sakselo. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of all. I go for refuge in the Guru. Lama Sangye Lama Chre, Deshin Lama Gendunte, Kungi Lama Yin, Lama Namla Tsakselo. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, please liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of aeons. Chona chen po drayeni, semchen dunyal thagi cheng, kyalpa jeva samye su, chotan zecheng shuksu so. The Buddha does not wash the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of suchness that the beings are liberated. Thumnam dikpa choyi mitru sheng, drove dunya chagli misella, liki ton pashen la pomente, chani den paten pedrolvar diu. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. Chognam kungi sangela, thelmo jate solvai, semchen dunyal munthunla, chogi dromen partyuso. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you do not have bodhicitta. If you are thus grasping, you do not have the view. Sede lashenna chopamin, kolwa lashenna namjummin, ranga lashenna jamsemin, zinpa jumna tawamin. Page 14. Praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond the foe-destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When, O supreme amongst humans, you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in the world. To you who were wise then, I prostrate. With pure bodies formed supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme science, face like a spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dust-free like you, the 3 worlds are not, incomparable wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you the Tathagata I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dharma that pacifies, I prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you the Sangha I prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly, this is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud. See conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the foe of faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. Page 19. Sun illuminating the threefold faith, praise to the 17 Nalanda masters. Born from great compassion, aspiring to help all beings, God of gods, you have attained the Savior state of abandonment and realization, and you guide beings through the discourse of dependent origination. O able one, the son of speech, I bow my head to you. I implore you at your feet, O Nagarjuna, most skilled in elucidating such mystery of elaborations, the meaning of sutras, the mother of conquerors, through the profound reasoning of dependent origination. In accord with the conqueror's prophecy, you initiated the middle way, the supreme vehicle. I implore you to your principal son, Bodhisattva Aryadeva, most learned and realized, who has crossed the ocean of Buddhist and non-Buddhist tenet systems, and is the crown jewel among those who uphold Nagarjuna's treatises. I implore you, O Buddhapadita, who has reached the supreme adept state and who has clearly elucidated Arya Nagarjuna's intent, the final meaning of dependent origination, the profound point of mere designation and as mere label. I implore you, O Master Bhava Viveka, fully accomplished Pandita, you initiated the philosophical tradition wherein, while negating extremes of truly existing things, arising and so forth, you uphold commonly verified knowledge and external reality. I implore you, O Chandrakirti, who disseminated all the parts of Sutra and Tantra, you are most skilled in teaching the profound and the vast aspects of the middle way, the union of appearance and emptiness, dispelling the two extremes, by means of dependent origination, that is mere conditionality. I implore you, O Bodhisattva Shantideva, skilled at revealing to the assembly of fortunate spiritual trainees the excellent path of compassion that is greatly wondrous, through a multitude of reasoning most profound and vast. I implore you, O Master Abbot Shantarakshita, who initiated the tradition of the non-dual middle way in accordance with the trainee's mental disposition. You are versed in the reasoning modes of both middle way and logic, and you disseminated the conqueror's teaching in the land of snows. I implore you at your feet, O Kamalashila, you who, having explained excellently the stages of meditation of the middle way view, free of elaborations, and the union of tranquility and insight in accordance with Sutra and Tantra, flawlessly elucidated the conqueror's teaching in the land of snows. I implore you at your feet, O Asanga, you who, sustained by Maitreya, were versed in disseminating excellently all Mahayana scriptures, and taught the vast path, and who, in accord with the conqueror's prophecy, initiated the tradition of mind only. I implore you at your feet, O Master Vasubandhu, you who, while upholding the systems of the 7 Abhidharma treatises as well as non-duality, illuminated the tenets of Vaibhashika, Sautantrika, and mind only. Foremost among learned ones, you are renowned as the second omniscient one. I implore you at your feet, O Dignaga, the logician, you who, in order to present the Buddha's way through evidence-based reasoning, opened 100-fold the ways of the system of logic and offered as a gift to the world the eyes of critical intelligence. I implore you at your feet, O Dharmakirti, you who, understanding all the essential points of both Buddhist and non-Buddhist epistemology, brought conviction in all the profound and vast paths of Sautantrika and mind only by means of reasoning. You were most versed in teaching the excellent Dharma. I implore you at your feet, O Arya Vimuktasena, you who lit the lamp that illuminates the meaning of the ornament treatise, wherein the themes of the perfection of wisdom, stemming from Asanga and his brother, were expounded in accord with the middle way view free of existence and non-existence. I implore you, O Master Haribhadra, who were prophesied by the conqueror as expounder of the meaning of the mother, the perfection of wisdom. You elucidated the excellent treatise on the perfection of wisdom, the three mothers, in perfect accord with the instruction of the Savior Maitreya. I implore you at your feet, O Gunaprabha, most excellent in both integrity and scholarship, who, having excellently distilled the intent of 100,000 disciplinary teachings, expounded the individual liberation vows flawlessly according to the tradition of the Sarvastivada school. I implore you at your feet, O Shakyaprabha, supreme upholder of discipline, who reigned over the treasury of the qualities of the three trainings, in order to disseminate the stainless Vinaya teachings for a long time, you excellently expounded the meaning of the vast treatises. I implore you, O Jyovaradhisha, you who, having taught all the profound and vast traditions related to the words of the Buddha, within the framework of the path of the persons of three capacities, were the most kind master disseminating the Buddha's teaching in the land of snows. Having thus entreated these most learned ornaments of the world, the excellent sources of wondrous and insightful teachings, may I be blessed so that my mind becomes ripened and free, through the entreaty I made with a mind unwavering and pure. By understanding the two truths, the ontological reality, will we ascertain how, through the four truths, we enter and leave samsara. I will make firm the faith in the three jewels that is born of valid reason. May I be blessed so that the root of the path of liberation is firmly established within me. May I be blessed to perfect the training in renunciation, an aspiration for liberation, the total pacification of suffering and its origin, as well as in an uncontrived bodhicitta that is rooted in an infinite compassion that wishes to protect all sentient beings. May I be blessed so that I may easily develop conviction in all the paths pertaining to the profound points of the perfection and Vajra vehicle. By engaging in study, reflection and meditation on the meaning of the treatises of the great trailblazers, may I, in life after life, obtain excellent births that support the three trainings and contribute to the teaching that equals the great trailblazers in upholding and disseminating the teaching of scripture and realization through engaging in exposition and meditative practice. May the members of all spiritual communities spend their time in learning, reflection and meditation, shunning wrong livelihood. Through the proliferation of sublime masters, may the great face of the earth be beautified throughout all time. Through the power of this supplication, may I traverse all the paths of Sutra and Tantra and swiftly attain the state of Contra's omniscience, characterized by spontaneous realization of the two purposes. May I work for the welfare of sentient beings as long as space remains. Page 31, Heart Sutra Mantra. Tayatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasangate Bodhi Swaha 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 Tayatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasangate Bodhi Swaha. Next page, page 32, 8 verses of mind training. With the determination to achieve the highest aim for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even the wish-fulfilling gem, May I hold them dear at all times. Whenever I interact with someone, may I view myself as the lowest amongst all, and from the very depths of my heart respectfully hold others as superior. In all my deeds may I probe into my mind, and as soon as mental and emotional afflictions arise, as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront them and avert them. When I see beings of unpleasant character, oppressed by strong negativity and suffering, may I hold them dear, for they are rare to find, as if I have discovered a jewel treasure. When others out of jealousy treat me wrongly with abuse, slander and scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer to others the victory. When someone whom I have helped or in whom I have placed great hopes mistreats me in extremely hurtful ways, may I regard them still as my precious teacher. In brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quietly take upon myself all hurts and pains of my mothers. May all this remain undefiled by the stains of the 8 mundane concerns, and may I, recognizing all things as illusions devoid of clinging, be released from bondage. From my 2 collections, vastest base that I have amassed, from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds' wisdom eyes blinded by ignorance.
Okay, last time we were doing we are on page 141 commentary, Palamacungappa, page 141, and the second paragraph, which with the subheading, dispelling disputes about the meaning of the words of the root verse. Okay, so we read this already, and then we were doing the objection and the response. We are doing the response. So the idea again to quickly go back to how this whole thing came into being. In the root text, if you got turn to page 17, the root text, the separate root text, page 17, stanza 29. Separate root text, page 17, stanza 29, which reads, through the force of cataracts, such distorted realities as falling of hairs and so on are imputed. What is this reality is seen by those with a clear sight. So too you should understand the case to be so here. We're talking about, say, the 2 kinds of, say, one who's suffering from 2 kinds of person, one suffering from cataract or the flutter, and then because of which you see hairs falling, bees flying here and there. This one. And then on the other hand, we have somebody who has a proper eyesight without being affected by the defective eyes, such as flutter and so forth, or cataract or flutter. So now the question is, these 2 people, they disagree with their perception. They disagree. So one say that, oh, there's a hair falling there, and the other said there's no hairs falling, there's no bees there. Other one said yes, there's a bee, there's hair falling. And who's right and who's wrong? And what's the right and wrong meaning? Whose perception tallies with the reality? Whose perception tallies with the reality? For that matter, we need to know what the reality is. So the reality of the hairs falling as seen by the one with the eye defect. So the reality of that hair falling, is that the reality of the hair falling, or the absence of hair falling is the reality of the hair falling? So this was what we discussed earlier, and what we learned is that the absence of the hair falling is the reality of the hair falling. There's no hair falling actually. It's just a deception that you see hair falling. So the absence of the hair falling is the reality of the hair falling. So therefore, now of the two, one sees the absence of the hair falling, and the other one sees the hair falling. And then the author Acharya Chandrakirti is saying that the wisdom or the discernment which the one with the proper eyesight is seeing, is having, that the absence of the hair falling, that cannot be rejected by the other mind which sees hair falling. So there's a discrepancy between the perception, the two perceptions. With the flutter, eye defect, and without the eye defect, there's a discrepancy. And which of the two is correct? So first we have to discern what the reality is. And the reality, what we know is that hair falling versus the absence of the hair falling. Whether or not hair falling is the reality of the hair falling seen by the one with the flutter, or the absence of the hair falling is the reality of the hair falling as seen by the one with flutter. So we said that no, the absence of the hair falling is the reality. Okay. So if that was the case, then the absence of the hair falling, that's reality. Then how that reality is seen? What is seen by the one who is freed of the flutter or the eye defect? So that perception cannot be rejected by the other perception based on the flutter. Okay, so this is what we learned. So likewise, ordinary beings, we see things as so objectively real. And the Arya beings who are the meditative equipoise, they see that nothing really exists objectively. So the things, the same flower, the same object that we are seeing, how the Arya beings in the meditative state, how they see, and how we the ordinary beings see, we look at the same object, we see the flower, the enlightened beings or the Arya beings in the meditative equipoise, they see the emptiness of the flower. So these two are totally opposite. One sees the flower, one sees the emptiness of the flower. So which of the two perceptions is correct? And of course, we should be very careful to use the proper terminology and so forth. So for the time being, not to delve into confusion, not to delve into unnecessary the doubts. So let's say that how we see the flower, instead how we see things is that we project a flower there. We project a flower, right? And it is on this basis we create mentally we project a flower, and this is how we say that the flower exists. When the meditative experience of the Aryas, they see emptiness of the flower. So we see what we are projecting. So Arya beings, they don't project the flower. So they see the emptiness of the flower. So while both of us are looking at the same object. Okay. So Arya beings seeing the flower, seeing the emptiness of the flower cannot be rejected by the ordinary people's perception of the flower to be objectively real. That cannot be rejected. Okay. Because what the Arya beings see tallies with the reality, and how the ordinary beings see things objectively real, that does not tally with the reality. Okay, so this being said, that the question, then the debate arises, and these debates are very important. It's not for the sake of debate, it's not for the sake of just the enriching one's intellectual, say the desire, but these will take us to get a very nuanced, a very subtle experience of emptiness. So there, the question arises, okay, say the flower, or say the example that we say that because of my defective eyes, with the flutter and cataract, I'm seeing hairs falling, and you, free from the eye defects, you don't see, you see the absence of the hairs falling. So now, So your perception tallies with, your perception is the metaphor, is metaphor for the Arya being's meditative experience, and my perception is a metaphor for the ordinary being's perception of the objective reality. Under such situation, say what I see is hairs falling, and hairs falling of course does not exist. You don't see the hairs falling. And not only I see hairs falling, I also have the appearance of the hairs falling. Appearance of the hair falling. For you, you don't see the hair falling, nor you have the appearance of the hair falling. And appearance of the hair falling, it exists. Hairs falling does not exist, but the appearance of the hairs falling, that exists. Does it exist or not? Appearance of the hair falling does exist or not? But for you, who are free from the eye defect, you don't even have the appearance of the hair falling. You getting it? Okay. Now, this discussion, whole discussion is taken to the Buddha. So the Buddha's perception tallies with the perception of the ones freed of the flutter eye defect, such as the flutter. So there, then the Buddha not only the Buddha is not having, not only that the Buddha is not having the objective flower, objective things. Buddha should not even have the appearance of the object, the objective existence of things, right? Things. How do things exist? They exist by the projection of mind. So the Buddha's mind does not project them. So just as the one which is freed of the flutter, eye defect, does not see the hair fall and does not have the appearance of the hair falling. Likewise, the Buddha should not have the appearance of all the phenomena. All the phenomena, right? If the Buddha does not have the appearance of all phenomena, Buddha should not be seeing all phenomena. If the Buddha does not see the phenomena, then the Buddha should not be omniscient. Omniscient means somebody who sees all phenomena. So this is a debate. For that matter, if you say the Buddha has seen the ultimate truth means the way the beings who are freed of the eye defects, they see, which means they don't even have the appearance of the hairs falling. They just see the emptiness of the hair falling. If that is the case, then the Buddha should be seeing just ultimate truth and should not be seeing the ultimate conventional truth at all. This is the debate. So this is a very serious debate. As I mentioned earlier, it was what was actually a big discussion, debate, views, the difference of the views amongst the incredible great scholars and practitioners. We call them saints. Some, they go to the extent of saying that the Buddhas see the ultimate truth. Buddhas, they see the ultimate truth, and the conventional truth is the view of the ordinary beings. For the Buddha, what's the Buddha's mind? Buddha's mind is the mind which only sees the ultimate truth, does not see the conventional truth. Conventional truth is something which ordinary beings see, and ordinary beings, they do not see the ultimate. Some say like this. And some say that the Buddha's mind, Buddha actually does not have any mind. Buddha doesn't have an omniscient mind. Because if you have a mind, the mind should see something. The moment you see something, you project something. The moment you project something, you're projecting objectively existing phenomena. So therefore the Buddha does not have the mind at all. These are the the views which were being they're quite strongly held by some highly acclaimed scholar and the saints, not only saint scholars. Okay, so if you say the Buddha sees the ultimate reality, then you have to compromise Buddha seeing the conventional truth. If you say the Buddha sees the conventional truth, then you have to compromise Buddha seeing the ultimate truth. Because the way the analogy which the author gave, or Chandrakirti gave, of the ones with cataract, the ones without the cataract. So with this example, you have to compromise one of these two things. If you compromise, the moment you compromise, in a way you are deprecating the Buddha's omniscient mind. Because it does not then become an omniscient mind. Omniscient mind means a mind which cognizes all phenomena, which is omniscient. Conventional truth as well as ultimate truth. Okay, so for that, to resolve this issue, Lama Tsongkhapa gave a response here. And this is, they say, a very serious debate, which was not only in Tibet. This was what was happening around at the time of Acharya Chandragiri as well. It's for this reason that chapter 10 of Madhyamaka Avatar, Acharya Chandragiri was going to the explanation as to how one cannot deprecate the existence of the omniscient mind in the Buddhas. So this is what he responded. So now the Lama Tsongkhapa, in his commentary, he gave the answer so beautifully. Okay, so how the Buddha sees the conventional truth and how the Buddha sees the ultimate truth, right? So when you see the conventional truth, it should not hamper for Buddha, for the ordinary beings. When you see ultimate conventional truth, you cannot see the ultimate truth directly. When you see ultimate truth directly, you cannot see the conventional truth. You don't have the access to conventional truth. So this is with the ordinary, the ordinary beings, or any the sentient being. Now for the Buddha, this is not the case. The Buddha has access to both the truths simultaneously. Conventional truth, ultimate truth, that too, direct access to the two truths simultaneously. And how? How? By not, keep in mind, not forgetting the example of this which the Acharya Chandragiri gave, and the one with the eye defect of the flutters and the one without the eye defect of the flutters. How would you relate this to the Buddha? Okay, so for that matter, we need to have a very clear picture of the question and the doubt. The doubt, only if you have a very clear picture of the doubt there, then when you read the author's view as to author's view of the presentation, as to how the Buddha can have both the omniscient mind having access to both the truths simultaneously and direct access to truths simultaneously. Okay, so we are here. It says in the middle, it reads response. The explanation of the way in which there is no such fault, it is as follows. There are two ways in which a Buddha's exalted wisdom knows object of knowledge. Object of knowledge meaning phenomena. How the Buddha knows the phenomena. Phenomena which is of two kinds. What are they? Conventional truth and ultimate truth. So the first one, the way in which it knows, it or the Buddha's mind knows all objects of knowledge that come under ultimate truth. And number two, the way in which the Buddha's mind knows all objects of knowledge that come under conventional truth. So 2 points. One, the first one, ultimate truth. The first, the way in which the Buddha's exalted wisdom knows all objects of knowledge that are ultimate truth is in a manner of not seeing the appearance of conventionalities, the aggregates and so forth. A Buddha's exalted wisdom knows their suchness. Okay, so first let me explain this and then we'll read this again. This is a very important point. And to really understand what emptiness is, we must understand this. If you don't understand this passage, however much we may think that you are meditating on emptiness, you are not getting any close to emptiness. Okay, let's say I raise this flower, I hold this flower in my hand. Then I ask you, do I have a glass of water in my hand? No. Which means that you see the absence of the glass of water in my hand. You see the absence of glass of water in my hand. How do you see this? Tell me. How do you see the absence? How do you see the absence of the glass of water? Glass in my hand. How do you see the absence of the glass in my hand? How? Tejala, you want to give an answer?
I see. By negating the presence of the glass of water in your hand, I infer.
By negating the presence of the water, by negating the presence of the glass in my hand. How do you negate the presence of the glass in my hand? How do you negate it? How do you see that it's not there?
By the presence of the power.
By the presence of, I can have, presence of flower and the glass both. Right? Simply because there's a presence of the flower doesn't mean that the glass is negated. Okay, how do you see the negation of the glass? Hey. Huh?
Its absence.
How do you see the absence?
Because you are verbalizing the present. Is there a glass in my hand? So we are then seeing the absence of the glass in your hand.
No, how do you see the absence of the glass?
Otherwise, your eye consciousness would be seeing the glass.
Very good. Okay. If the glass is there, glass is something which is, for example, same. Okay. Is there glass in my hand? Glass of water in my hand? You will say no. Okay. Is there atom of glass? Is there an atom, gold atom in my hand? A gold atom in my hand? You don't know. No, it's not there. Gold atom. Huh? Gold atom is not in my hand. How do you know that this doesn't have gold atom?
Exactly. Can't see.
How can you say that there's no gold atom in this? Wow. If you know that there's no gold atom in there, then the goldsmiths and the jewelers, they have to hire you to see, you were able to see on the atomic level. So if there is a gold atom in my hand, and if there is or no gold atom, no, or I have or not have the gold atom in my hand, it is not visible to you. So therefore you cannot decide. Whereas if there's a glass of water in my hand, it is visible. What is visible and is not seen, you are seeing the absence of the glass of water. You're getting it? What is not visible, even if it is there, even if it is not there, still you are not seeing the absence of that. Because even if it is there, you cannot see the presence of that. But with the glass of water, if it is there, it's visible. If it is there, it's not visible. If it's not visible means, if it is there, it should be visible, but because it is not visible, it is not there. Whereas with the gold atom, even if it's there in my hand, you cannot say that it is there. So therefore, if you cannot decide that it is there, you cannot decide that it is not there as well. Right? Okay. So therefore, the thing is that, say, now, how the Buddha's mind sees the ultimate reality, the first one, how the Buddha's mind sees the ultimate reality, right? So in other words, it says that, okay, this is an extremely important line, yet I would suggest that for your understanding, you can use that, but don't try to share this too much with other people, with the Nalanda Diploma course, or with your father, mother, brother, sisters. You will end up making them fall into nihilism easily. You're getting it? Okay. In other words, the point is this is the expression. Not seeing anything is the seeing the reality, or seeing the supreme. Not seeing anything is seeing the reality. You get it? Don't forget it. Okay, what does it mean by that? What does it mean by that? Right? Okay. Say in between us, between me and you, there is Mount Kailash. And then say I put on a pair of glasses which is very dirty, and you put on a pair of glasses which is very clean. Or in other words, say you have a very clear eyesight, and with a very clean pair of glasses. So I look at it, I see it very dirty. You look at it, you see it very clean. You getting it? Now, what's the reality of this Mount Kailash? What's the reality of this dirty Mount Kailash that I'm seeing? absence of the dirtiness of the Mount Kailash is the reality of the dirty Mount Kailash that I'm seeing. You getting it? Am I seeing the Mount Kailash is dirty? Yes. Are you seeing the Mount Kailash is very clean? Yes. So the very dirty Mount Kailash that I'm seeing as the dirty Mount Kailash, what is the reality of this? The reality of this is the absence of being dirty. Absence of the dirtiness of the Mount Kailash is the reality of the dirty Mount Kailash that I'm seeing. You understand it? Okay. So how come that if the dirtiness of the Mount Kailash is not the reality of the Mount Kailash, I'm seeing something. Where is it coming from? It's coming from my mind. You're getting it? It's coming from my mind. Whereas, is it coming from your mind? No, it's coming from my mind. So from your side, it is not there. So you don't see the dirtiness of the Mount Kailash. This is seeing the reality of the Mount Kailash, right? You don't see the dirtiness of Mount Kailash. This is what you are seeing, is seeing the supreme of the Mount Kailash, supreme, the reality of the Mount Kailash. Not seeing the dirtiness, the way I see it. This is seeing the reality of the Mount Kailash. So therefore, not seeing anything what I see. For you not seeing anything of what I'm seeing is you seeing the reality. You're getting it? Okay, this may be a little complicated. If you understand something, if you get something extremely precious, and even if you don't get something, don't worry. At least don't forget this. And if possible, try to go through this over and over again. Right? Okay. And this page 141, you can go through this over and over again, and then slowly some understanding comes to you, which is so precious. Okay. Now let us read. Response. Explanation of the way in which there is no such fall is as follows. There are two ways in which the Buddha's exalted wisdom meaning, sometimes people translate it as pristine awareness, primordial wisdom, primordial consciousness, or pristine awareness, pristine consciousness. Okay, exalted wisdom knows objects of knowledge. How does the Buddha's omniscient mind know the phenomena, object of knowledge? So two ways. Buddha's mind seeing the conventional truth, Buddha's mind seeing the ultimate truth. The first ultimate truth, okay, the first one, I'm reading this, the way in which a Buddha's exalted wisdom knows all objects of knowledge that are ultimate truths. In other words, how the Buddha's mind sees the ultimate truth. Because with respect to Buddhas, it is not suitable to posit an implicit, the way in which the Buddha's exalted wisdom knows all objects of knowledge that are ultimate truth is in a manner of not seeing the appearance of conventionalities, right? Not seeing the same word. In a manner of not seeing the appearance of conventionalities, right? Say, my mind sees the dirty Mount Kailash, and you are not seeing this. You don't see the dirty Mount Kailash, is seeing the reality of the Mount Kailash. Likewise, the Buddha's mind is like your mind. Mind which is pure is not like my mind. So therefore it says that the appearance, not seeing the appearance of conventionalities. Conventionalities arise from the sentient being's mind, right? Sentient being's mind. For example, the convention of the left lane being the correct lane. Is it left lane or right lane? Gitaji? In India, it's left lane. So left lane being the correct lane, is who decides? The road decides, or the people decide? The people decide. The convention, the law, traffic rule decides. And which traffic rule is correct? The American system or the Indian system, which is correct? Huh? Both are correct. Okay, both are correct. How come that the same traffic rule and the two are opposites can both be correct? How come? If you say that this flower is purely red, you are not supposed to say it's purely white. This is contradictory. Right lane is correct and the other one said left lane is correct. So how can both be correct? How can both be correct? Anyone? Anyone? Dennis Biela, you would like to say something?
That is convention. There's a consensus among stars to decide. You decided.
Both are correct. Both are correct. We can posit that both are correct if we accept subjectivity. You're getting it? Both can be correct only if we accept subjectivity, because there are two different subjects, right? And two different subjects are not identical. Because object-wise, there's only one object. The same traffic, same object. If it is purely object, then they cannot be two contradictory things. But if it is subjective, subjects there are multiple. So therefore there can be multiple, say the multiple realities. So therefore this convention meaning is not purely objective, it is not objective, it is purely subjective. Because it is subjective, the two things which are contradictory can go compatibly. Right? Okay. So now on the, let's say that, okay, let's say conventions or the convention, the ultimate truth. Okay, let's say first this flower. Okay, by the way, how many of you in your life you have met with people who hallucinate? Who hallucinated? Huh? In your life? Yes. Okay. Only one? Two? Anyone? You have not met anyone. Oh. Okay. Right. When people hallucinate, it's very interesting. Right? By the way, in a way, we are all hallucinating. Yes, we are all hallucinating. Right? We have met. Not only that, we have the direct experience of hallucination. Right? Conventionally, what we call is hallucination, that is not happening to us, but actually we are hallucinating. Right? For example, say when we speak about say left lane is correct, is for the Indians, Britishers, Singaporeans, right? And when you say the right lane is correct, it is for the Americans and who else? Europeans? All Europeans? Huh? All Europeans. British? Not British. British not under Europe. Okay. So okay. So the Europe and America saying the right lane is correct, and the Indians and the Britishers, they say left lane is correct. What about the Australians? Left. The New Zealand? Left. Okay. So the point is that left lane is correct, right lane is correct is purely decided by the people's mind, not by the object. You getting it? Okay. Let's say that okay, Ajirji, what is your father's name?
Father's name is Mr. Govardhan Negi.
Mr. Govardhan Negi. Okay, let's say Mr. Govardhan Negi is alive, not alive. Okay, let's say Mr. Govardhan Negi Okay, say that let's say then, you, each one of us, your mother is a daughter or a mother? Both. Okay, let's say that somebody else's mother is a mother or a daughter. Huh? If you ask, is his mother? Right? So mother is somebody who gave you the birth. For you, mother, not mother, doesn't make sense. With respect to somebody else, you can say the person's mother or not mother. You're getting it with only with respect to somebody else, you can speak of mother or not mother. Other's mother, somebody else's. So the point is that, say, being the mother or a daughter. So this is all only with relative, only with respect to somebody else, or with somebody else as the frame of reference. You can speak about the mother, grandmother, daughter, son, and so forth. You're getting it? Okay. Likewise, let's say that a game of the small children's game. Small children's game. What do you call it? Role play? You call it role play? Let's say role play. Say in the role play, there's a group of, say, 10 children, young children. By the way, how many of you have actually took part in role play? Oh, no, really, you also, young people now, they're busy with their gadgets. No time for role play. No, really, you also did the role play? Okay. So, Nargila, actually, you belong to the younger generation. Right? Okay. So, the others who raised their hands, like me, we're all in the elder generation. Right? Okay. So, the point is that when you are engaged in role play, so let's say that, okay, let's say, is there somebody, Vivek? No, Vivek. Okay. So, amongst the children, all age 5, age 6, and the Vivek said, okay, we're going to have a role play, and I'm going to be the king. Right? Then everyone's, okay, yes, you can be the king. And then who? Then Tenzil Hajran says, okay, if you're going to be the king, then I'm going to be the tax collector, tax minister. Tenzil Hajran says, I'm going to be the tax minister. Okay, now who's going to volunteer? The next person? Anyone who wants to volunteer? Okay, third one is not, there's somebody who's courageous wants to volunteer. Okay, Dipesha wants to volunteer. So Dipesha said, okay, never mind, then I'll be your assistant. I'll be your assistant tax collector. Not tax collector, I should say tax minister. Deputy tax minister. Right? Okay. So Mr. Vivek, he said, okay, so this is a new kingdom. For the kingdom to be strong, we must have a financial backing. For that matter, tax, we have to collect the tax. Hey, the minister of Tenzil, your job is to collect the tax. Then the king, he started to rest for a while. Vivek, yes, just young boy, 5 years old boy, rested. Then Tenzil took over. Okay, as per the advice of the Honorable King, His Highness King Vivekji, so we have to pay the tax. All the subjects should pay tax. What? The chocolates that you go get from your home, all surrender here. And then, hey, Deputy Tax Minister, you make sure that all the tax are being collected. And then Tenzil took a little rest. Then the Deputy Minister of the Tax came and said, hey, Mimila, your chocolate? And then your name? Huh? Pandela, your chocolate? And Pandela revolted. No, this chocolate is my mother sent it for me. Then everybody, everybody went there and snatched the chocolate. from Pandela saying that this is a tax, how dare that you don't pay the tax. And Kandela is also very mischievous. Pandela also, helps to snatch it from Pandela. Okay, so then what does our deputy minister, the tax minister, what does he do? Is that of all the chocolates, 20 chocolates, 2 chocolates went into his pocket. And the remaining chocolate, then he surrendered to Tenzil Hatullah. And Tenzil Hatullah is a very good one, so she surrendered everything to the king. Right, did not give anything by herself. Okay, so then they say Vivek's mother comes. Vivek's mother comes and says, hey Vivek, it's time for your lunch, come. Everybody, Tejala, Logeshla, the Nareji, Rimala, everybody went to fight with the mother, saying that how dare you address our honorable king as Vivek without any respect. Oh, I'm very sorry, right? I'm very sorry. The mother says, I'm very sorry. So what does the mother do? Your Highness, your Highness King, your Majesty King, Vivek, right? I like to seek your audience. And the king said, okay, well, come, what have to say? So, it's time for your lunch, right? Okay, now look, this mother knows that this small children's game. So therefore she called her son as, hey Vivek, come for the lunch, right? Okay, so whereas if Nareshi, who is just one of the subjects, if Nareshi's mother comes, hey Nareshi, come for your lunch, nobody will say that, how dare you address our king, right? It's fine. Okay, so the mother knows that this is a small children's game, but if the mother wants to come into the game, meaning that if wants to involve in the game or to be involved in one of the participants of the game, the mother must respect the convention of the game. But the mother must address her own son as though like a real king, because this was the convention created, and the convention was actively in progress. It must be followed. Whereas if the mother says, why should I address my son as a king? He's not a king. If this is her attitude, she should not go into the game. She should stay outside. You getting it? So, whereas seeing that the deputy tax minister, he picked up 2 chocolates and went into his pocket. Then say Ajit also wants to have the 2 chocolates, right? He said, I'm also the deputy minister, I want to also have the 2 chocolates. Everybody will say that no, you are not the deputy minister, right? So whereas when Debeshi said that, yes, I'm the deputy minister, everybody agrees. So why, tell me, why when Ajit said that I'm also the deputy minister, why nobody agreed to him? Why? Because it was not a convention of that. Whereas when Debeshi said that I'm the deputy tax minister, everybody agrees. Why? Because that's a part of the convention. You getting it? Tell me, who's the king? Vivek's not a king. He's just a small boy. Huh? No king was there. But in this game, if you want to take the game into consideration, game as real, then Vivek is the king. In reality, Vivek is not a king. Right? In 1 hour, after 1 hour, the game is over. Then Vivek says, hey Pooja, bring your chocolate. And Pooja, who cares? You are not a king. The convention dissolved. Convention dissolved, and if Pooja says that, who cares? Nobody will support Vivek. Right? Instead, they will support Pooja. So therefore, this is how the world operates. He's the minister, he's the president, he's the prime minister, we are getting it. He's the chief justice, this is a lawyer, this is an architect, this is a teacher, this is that, this is like this. Everything just a small children's game. Everything just a small children's game created by the convention created by the sentient beings themselves. And then these conventions bind the sentient beings terribly. Bind the sentient beings terribly. If you don't follow the conventions, you are in trouble. Good, bad, nice, not nice, right? High, low. These are all purely convention. Nothing really from outside, from object side. Nothing's really there as high, low, good, bad. Nothing is purely convention, purely coming from a mind, right? So this is the reality. Now, if this is reality, like a small children's game, right? So what is the outlook of the mother towards the game? So the mother has two outlooks. The mother seeing this small children's game, who cares? Okay, let them do it, and I'll do my own business. This is one attitude. Where, okay, no one is king there. And the mother going into the game, knowing that there's no king there, but I have to follow the convention. Right? According to this convention, he is the king. She is the minister. He is the deputy minister. Right? According to this convention. Likewise, the mother is analogous to the Buddha. Mother is the analogy for the Buddha. And all the children playing game, the analogy of the sentient beings in some sense, in the sentient beings. So the sentient beings, they create the convention, and unless and until we see the emptiness directly, we cannot get out of these conventions. Right? Only when you see emptiness directly, and that too by seeing emptiness directly, all the metal stains solidified by the conventions, stains to see things objectively real, initially created by the conventions, and you forget that it's convention, you see them as objectively real. So that is, you solidify what the conventions dictate, then you solidify that as not conventions, as objectively real. So these imprints are in mind. So these imprints are unentangled by the non-dual wisdom of emptiness. So with this, the entanglement created by the objectification things, when they all dissolve fully, then you become enlightened. Then you become like the mother who is outside the conventions. But being the mother, if you see that this small children's game, then don't go inside the game. Right? If you want to go inside the game, follow the rule. Likewise, the Buddha, knowing that these are sentient beings conventions. So if the Buddha doesn't want to, follow this convention, he's already free from the convention, he can come out. But the Buddha, the very purpose for somebody to become Buddha, enlightened, is to benefit the beings. Where are the beings? The beings who are trapped in the conventions. So Buddha has to go into the conventions in order to help the beings. Going into the conventions, then the Buddha has to follow the conventions. So therefore, the Buddha, even after becoming fully enlightened, when he went back to the Kapilavastu, he addressed his father as Your Highness, and mother as whatever the protocol demands. He was treating them with that particular thing, the way the mother would treat her son, a very young son, as Your Highness King, and so forth. Okay, this is how things exist. Now the point is that if this is how things exist, but purely convention, whose convention? Sentient beings' conventions. Sentient beings convention meaning that your mind convention is nothing but your thinking. Your thinking projects something. Projects something. You who's not projecting it, what do you see? You don't see anything, because it is projected by the sentient beings. It is projected by sentient beings. So you don't see what the sentient beings are projecting, objective real flower, objective real things. You don't see them. Not seeing that is seeing the supreme, seeing the ultimate. Seeing the ultimate. Okay, so let's read this again. After response, there are 2 points. Okay, this is not an easy concept to understand, and yet I'm deliberately sharing this with you. One, because it is there in this text, the author of the commentary explains this, page 141. Page 141. Okay. Say in the middle, after the response, then the 2 points, after the 2 points, point 1 and 2, we read the first meaning, how the Buddha's mind sees the ultimate truth. First, the way in which the Buddha's exalted wisdom knows all objects of knowledge that are ultimate truth is in a manner of not seeing the appearance of conventionalities, not seeing the conventionalities, that these such are conventionalities, right? Conventionalities created by the sentient beings, but not seeing the things projected by the conventions of the sentient beings. This is how the Buddha sees the ultimate truth of the things. Conventionalities such as what? The aggregates and so forth. A Buddha's exalted wisdom knows their suchness, knows their ultimate reality. Okay, this is how the Buddha's mind sees the ultimate truth. Next is how the Buddha's mind sees the conventional truth. Second, the way in which a Buddha's exalted wisdom knows all objects of knowledge that are conventional truths is because with respect to the Buddhas, it is not suitable. Okay, now this is going to a little technical. Let us say that now if this is how things happen, then is it that, for example, let's say you and your mother is wide awake and she's just once in a while keeping an eye on you to see that you're okay. You are fallen asleep. You're fallen asleep and you start to dream. And dream of what? Dream of being in say a forest with the wild animals. What examples do you have? Nareshi? Huh? No. What I'm saying, a forest. Huh? Soma forest. Amazon forest, let's say. So what wild animals are there?
In the Amazon.
Yeah. No, huh? Jaguar? Big cats. Okay. So let's say you are in the dream, somebody threw you into a forest which is frequented by wild animals such as the big cats, right? The tigers, leopards, and so forth. Okay, Rajaji forest, right? Rajaji National Park.
Yeah.
It is frequented with leopards and elephants, right? It is frequented with leopards and elephants. Okay, so let's say that, okay, don't freely go into the Rajaji forest. Yeah. Imagine that in your dream, your mother is just keeping an eye on you, and you fall asleep, you start having a dream where somebody picked you up in a car and then dropped you in the middle of the Rajaji forest, right? Okay, and then suddenly you see a group of the leopards coming towards you. What is your feeling? Pandana, what is your feeling? Huh? Scared, very scared, right? Very scared. And you cannot run as fast as the leopards. Leopards are so fast, right? And then from your body language, the mother, when she looks at you, she could see that you are not all right. She could see that you are not all right. Okay, what's your problem? You're afraid. Afraid of what? The leopards chasing you, right? The leopards chasing you. So, are they leopards chasing you, or this is dream leopards chasing you? Dream leopards chasing you, not the leopards chasing you. But for you, you see leopards chasing you, or you see dream leopards chasing you? For you, leopards chasing you. You getting it? Okay. Where are these leopards? Where are these leopards? Hey, huh? Are you sharing the room with your mother? Are you sharing the room with your mother? No. Room with your mother? In this tiny room, the mother may be reading books, and once in a while looking at you. You are sharing a room with your mother, a tiny room. In this tiny room, are there these 20 leopards chasing you? No. But you see the leopards. Where are these leopards?
They
Just in your mind mental creation, nothing really there. Nothing really there as leopards, but what you are seeing, you have created a world. What you have created world is not the real world. What your mother is seeing is the world is the real world. You getting it? Okay. So now the mother sees the real world, which is the absence of, which is the small real world, meaning the small house in which you live, which you are now, the small room, which is free of leopards. And you are seeing the whole forest. You are sharing the same room with your mother, where the mother is not seeing the leopards, and you are seeing the whole forest and the 10, the 20 leopards chasing you. Okay, so where are these leopards? They are nothing but your own mental creation of the dreamer, right? Likewise, all the conventionalities that exist in this universe, they are nothing but they are the creation of the dreamers, the sentient beings who are the dreamers. Okay, so now, if this were the case, then the debate we had earlier, if you remember, is that so the leopards are not seen by the mother, and even the appearance of the leopard is also not seen by the mother. And the mother here is the analogy for the Buddhas, and you as the dreamer is the analogy for the sentient beings. Okay, if this were the case, then how does the mother see the leopard or the appearance of the leopard? The mother does not see that. Then if this is the case, then does the Buddha see all the conventional realities? Conventional realities, they are like the dream leopards created by the mind of sentient beings. Right? So the Buddha's mind does not see the conventionalities. The Buddha's mind does not see law of karma. Buddha's mind does not see the three jewels. Buddha's mind does not see samsara and nirvana. They are all conventional realities. Right? Buddha's mind does not see that. Okay. So the author is saying that Buddha's mind does see that. So this is the dissimilarity between the real context and the analogy. In the analogy, the one who is outside the dream does not see the leopards as well as the appearance of the leopard. But in the case of the Buddha, things projected by the sentient beings. Sentient beings, they project two things. Let's say this object, they project the flower, they project the objectively existent flower. Objectively existent flower does not appear to the Buddha, but the flower appears to the Buddha. So the Buddha does have the appearance of the flower. This is the difference. If this is the case, then how can the Buddha see the ultimate reality of the flower? Well, how does the Buddha see the ultimate reality of the flower? But not seeing the flower is seeing the but not seeing the object is seeing the ultimate reality of the object. Right? This is what we said of the Buddha seeing the ultimate reality. But will Buddha see something now? Okay, so how can you reconcile these two things? On the one hand, you say that Buddha not seeing something is seeing the reality, seeing the suchness, seeing the ultimate reality. And now conventional reality, Buddha, you saying that conventional realities are created by the minds of sentient beings, and Buddha also sees that. Right? Okay, your dream is, who created your dream? You created your dream. Your dream, is this what your mother is seeing? Your mother is not seeing that. What you create is not what your mother is seeing. But what the sentient beings create, created by the sentient beings conventions, the Buddha is seeing that. This is the difference. You getting it? Okay, let's read this. The second, the way in which the Buddha's exalted wisdom knows all objects of knowledge that are conventional truths is because with respect to Buddha, it is not suitable to posit an implicit realization, whereas in conventionalities, even though they do not appear. Okay, so the point is, say, implicit realization and explicit realization. Meaning that, okay, let's say that, do you see my hands? Explicitly or implicitly? Explicitly you see my hands. Okay, now do you see my hand? Do you see my fist? Right fist? You don't see it. Implicitly you know that there's his hand. His hand is banging the table. His hand is banging the table. You getting it? Implicitly. Okay, so we see that implicit realization is you realize that object where the object does not appear to you. Explicit realization is a realization where the object appears to you and you realize. The two ways. So for the Buddha, any realization that is happening to the Buddha, it must be always explicit, never implicit. For the sentient beings, it can be implicit. Okay, so it says the way in which the Buddha's exalted wisdom knows all objects of knowledge that are conventional truths is because with respect to Buddhas, it is not suitable to posit an implicit realization. For Buddha, all realizations are explicit, there is no implicit realization. Realizing conventionalities, even though they do not appear, meaning that something does not appear, and still the Buddha can realize such things don't exist. Right? For us, for sentient beings, something does not appear and still we can realize. But for the Buddha to realize something, it must appear to the Buddha. Okay. There's a little English language problem here. You're getting it? There's a little English language problem here because with respect to Buddhas, it is not suitable to posit an implicit realization. What is implicit realization? The following lines explain that. Realizing conventionalities even though they do not appear. This is the explanation of what the implicit realization means. So such a thing does not happen to the Buddhas. A Buddha's exalted wisdom necessarily knows them through their appearing. That things should necessarily appear to the Buddha's mind. In other words, Buddha's mind to know something, that object must appear to the Buddha. It is never implicit, it is always explicit. Therefore, in the perspective of that exalted wisdom, knowing varieties. Okay, now I like to give this the technical term. You will down the line, you will see the wisdom knowing varieties, wisdom knowing the modes. This is the translation given here. In Tibetan, wisdom knowing varieties. In Tibetan, it is Chinyepa, Jinyepa, Chinyepa, and wisdom realizing modes, which the translator, English translator here of this book, they used. Wisdom realizing modes is Chitta. Modes is Chittawa, Jitawa, Chitawa. Okay, in other words, wisdom knowing varieties here, it can be better Chinyepa. Okay, it's fine, varieties, but make sure that in Tibetan it is Chinyepa, referring to conventionalities. Wisdom knowing the conventionalities, and then the wisdom knowing the modes, which we will they come across later on. Wisdom knowing the modes referring to the ultimate reality, the suchness. Chitawa is the suchness or the thatness or the suchness. Wisdom realizing the thatness, wisdom realizing suchness. Okay. But don't delete this, what this translator chose, this word, mode, and the varieties. Don't delete this. You will at least know that these are different options of translations. Okay, so it says that in the perspective of that exalted wisdom, knowing varieties meaning exalted wisdom which knows the conventional realities, conventional truths, conventional realities. How it knows? It knows conventionalities in a manner of the dualistic appearance of object and subject. Right? Say, okay, let us say, what is in my hand? Flower. Rose or flower. How many things are there in my hand?
One.
Okay, don't be afraid. Again, he may put us into problem. The color of the flower is there, shape is there, these two are one different. Don't worry, I'll not ask these questions now. Okay, how many things are there? One. Okay. One. Okay, now tell me. How many things are there in my hand? What are the two? Pen and the flower. These are two. Two in English is dual. Dual, duality. Two. Duality. Non-duality means no two. No two. Right? Okay, non-duality means one. How many of you agree with me? Non-duality means one. Raise hands. Okay. Non-duality means no two. Raise hands. Okay. One is also non-duality, but non-duality and one, these two are not synonymous. For example, how many things are there in my hand? Nothing. Is it dual or non-dual? Is it dual or non-dual? It's not dual. It's non-dual. So non-dual doesn't mean one. Right? Non-dual. One is also non-dual. Human being doesn't mean a girl. Human being doesn't mean a boy. Right? Boy is a part of human being. Girl is a part of human being. Likewise, one is a part of non-duality. Non-duality does not equate with one. Right? Okay. So now let's say that how many things are in my hand now? One. Is this dual or non-dual? Non-dual. You're getting it? Okay, this is non-dual. So now I see the object as non-dual. You're getting it? I see the object as non-dual. See the object as non-dual. See the object as dual. There are two connotations. See the object as non-dual. There are two connotations. Don't forget it. To see the object as non-dual. Okay. Say the pen and the flower. Are you seeing a dual or you're seeing non-dual? You're seeing a duality. Okay. Now I remove the pen. There's only the flower. Are you seeing duality or non-duality? Non-duality. Okay. Now, what do you mean by duality? Two or more. Two or more. Okay, now say, what is this? I point to the flower. What is this? Flower. And how do you know that there's a flower?
I can see it.
I can see it. What is that Asian that sees the flower?
Eye consciousness.
Your my eye consciousness. Where is your eye consciousness? With you. Where's the flower? In my hand. You getting it? Are these two or one? Two. One is the object and one is the subject. There are two. So I see this flower in a dualistic way. The flower is the object and my mind is the subject. There are two. Dualistic way. You getting it? Okay. So I see the flower. I see the flower as non-dual. I see the flower in a dualistic way. You're getting it? Okay, this is difference. I see the flower as non-dual. I see the flower in a dualistic way. I see the flower as non-dual means object-wise there's only one object. There's no two objects. And I see the flower in a dualistic way, meaning that there's a subject-object duality. You're getting it? There's subject-object duality. Okay. So when you speak about the non-dual experience of emptiness, when you speak about the non-dual experience of emptiness, means that you should not have the object, emptiness is the object, and your mind is the subject. This duality should dissolve. The moment you have this emptiness of object and your mind is the subject, the duality is still there. This is a dualistic understanding of emptiness. So it happens when? When does it happen?
Before path of seeing.
Before path of seeing. Before path of seeing, all conceptual experience of emptiness, this is the dualistic experience. Dualistic experience. Okay. Now, okay, you look around. Look around. Okay, tell me what you see. Tangas, flowers, both. Books, Buddha statues. Ajirji? Fans. Flags. Flags.
Human beings.
Human beings.
Mind.
Okay, we see the things that we see, are they varieties? They are varieties of things, or they are only one thing? Varieties. So these things, what we see as varieties, these are known as conventional truth. So therefore varieties, the wisdom realizing the varieties, referring to wisdom realizing the conventionalities. You're getting it? What we see around, there's the variety there. This variety is nothing but the conventional realities, conventional truth. So wisdom realizing the varieties, wisdom realizing the conventional truth, these two are synonymous. You getting it? Okay. Now let's see. The second, the way in which the Buddha's exalted wisdom knows all objects of knowledge that are conventional truths is because with respect to Buddhas, it is not suitable to posit an implicit realization. What that is, realizing conventionalities, even though they do not appear, the Buddha's exalted wisdom necessarily knows them through their appearing. That the object must appear, it must be explicit, the realization. Therefore, in the perspective of that exalted wisdom knowing varieties, from that point of view, from the point of view of the Buddha's mind, knowing the varieties, knowing the conventionalities, it knows, the mind, that Buddha's mind knows conventionalities in a way, in a manner of the dualistic appearance. Object, the flower, and the Buddha's mind, these two as subject-object dualities there when the Buddha's mind sees the conventional truth. When the Buddha's mind sees conventional truth, Buddha's mind sees conventional truth with a subject-object duality. So the non-duality is to be understood only in the context of ultimate truth, not with conventional truth. Even for Buddha, there is duality. Even for Buddha's mind, there is duality. Duality of subject-object pertaining to which truth? Conventional truth. But in ultimate truth, the duality dissolves. You getting it? Okay, now look, this is a very important point which we're going to learn from here, is that, say, the mind which sees the ultimate truth in its bare form, direct realization of ultimate truth. So there, subject-object duality dissolves. Whereas for the mind which directly sees the conventional truth, subject-object duality is there. You getting it? Okay. For us, we should go for only one. We cannot have both. Either we go to have the subject-object duality, or we have to dissolve the subject-object duality. Only one option. Whereas for the Buddhas, both are possible simultaneously. You're getting it? Buddha's mind, with respect to the flower, the duality is there. With respect to emptiness of flower, the non-duality is there. You're getting it? With the same object, the flower, every phenomena has two truths. We learned that already. What are the two truths? Conventional truth and ultimate truth. Or tell me, this object, the flower, what is the conventional truth of this flower? What is the conventional truth of this flower? The flower. Very good. What is the ultimate truth of this flower? Emptiness of the flower. Very good. Now for us, if you get access to the flower, we don't have direct access to the emptiness of the flower. If we have access to the ultimate truth, if we have direct access to emptiness of the flower, we don't have access to the flower. So our direct access to the flower, conventional truth, and the emptiness of the flower, ultimate truth, these two should be consecutive. These two should be consecutive, these two cannot be simultaneous. Whereas for the Buddha, access to the two truths, direct access to the two truths is always simultaneous. These two don't alternate. These two are not consecutive. You getting it? This is the difference. So, if the same Buddha's mind sees the flower, the same mind sees the flower in a dualistic subject-object duality or without the duality? With duality. Subject-object duality. When the Buddha's mind sees the flower, when the Buddha mind sees, the same mind sees the emptiness of flower, then emptiness of flower is the object and the Buddha's mind is subject. There's the object-subject duality dissolves in that experience. So for the Buddha's mind, every moment of the Buddha's mind, duality and non-duality are happening simultaneously. But with respect to two different objects. You're getting it? Duality dissolves with respect to ultimate truth, and then the duality arises with respect to conventional truth. So these two are happening simultaneously or consecutively? Simultaneously, right? For the Buddhas. For the sentient beings, these two necessarily happen consecutively. Why it does not happen simultaneously? Because of cognitive obscurations. So only when the cognitive obscurations is dissolved, removed, disappear, eliminated, then you get direct access to the two truths simultaneously. So that way, with respect to ultimate truth, you can see the ultimate truth in a non-dual form. Subject object within the pattern of the subject object non-duality, and then simultaneously when you see the conventional truth, you see the conventional truth as with the subject object duality, right? So therefore there is no contradiction for the Buddha. Okay, so with this in mind, let's continue reading this. The second last paragraph, page 141, the second last paragraph. Okay, in the middle it reads, although the aggregates. Okay, let me read a little before that. Okay, line 2 of the second last paragraph. Line 2. Okay, let's read the second last paragraph, line 1. The second, the way in which the Buddha's exalted wisdom knows all phenomena of knowledge that are conventional truth is, because with respect to Buddhas, it is not suitable to possess an implicit realizing conventionalities even though they do not appear. A Buddha's exalted wisdom necessarily knows them through their appearing. Done. Therefore, in the perspective of that exalted wisdom knowing varieties, what is the exalted wisdom knowing varieties? Knowing conventional truth. Varieties here refers to conventional truth. It knows conventionalities and manner of the dualistic appearance of object and subject. Right? Whenever the Buddha's mind knows any conventional truth, it should know with the subject-object duality. Okay. Although the aggregates and so forth do not appear to the Buddha's exalted knower of varieties, though through it being polluted by the latencies of ignorance. Okay, tell me. To the Buddha's mind, aggregates and so forth appear or not appear?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes, appear.
Aggregates appear.
Yes.
So aggregates are not a projection of the sentient being's mind?
They are.
They are. But still they appear. What's the problem if I say that they don't appear to the Buddha's mind?
Then they will not be conventional truths anymore.
Then they should become non-existent. They should become non-existent. If they don't appear to the Buddha's mind, anything that Buddha knows, anything that exists, should the Buddha must know. What the Buddha knows, Buddha's mind must know it explicitly. What is explicitly known must appear to the mind. You're getting it? So therefore the aggregates should appear. But it says here that it does not appear. Huh? It says that although the aggregates and so forth do not appear to a Buddha's exalted knower of varieties, sentence is not complete. So what is sentence complete? Varieties, through it being polluted by the latencies of ignorance, so the aggregates appear to the Buddha's mind, but the aggregates don't appear to the Buddha's mind by the power of the pollution, by the power of the contamination. Instead of pollution, let's say contamination. Pollution is a terrible word. Okay. Same, it is not that how the aggregates appear to the Buddha's mind and how the aggregates appear to our mind is very different. How the aggregates appear to mind is what? Our mind projects it, right? Our mind projects it. First, like the dreaming mind projects the dream. Our dreaming mind projects the dream, and then we forget. We forget. Okay, let's say. So this projection, the Buddha's mind does not project things. Our mind projects things. Why? How? What makes our mind to project things? This projection of things is the indication of the ignorance. How ignorance? We project it and we are not aware that we are projecting it. Right? Okay, how many of you have seen your mother? All of us. Right? Maybe except one or two. And when you see your mother, how does the mother appear to your mind? Oh, my mind is projecting you. Or no, you appear as so object real to me. How does it appear? So object real. So we project in such a way that we are unaware that we are projecting. Even this projection, why the Buddha's mind doesn't project and our mind is projecting, is because of the ignorance. Because of the ignorance. Our ignorance, imprints of ignorance makes us to project things. Okay. So, how we project things, when we project, say, when the aggregates appear to mind, it appears to mind by our mind projecting it. Okay, let's say that, so you are a medical doctor. You are the medical doctor, expert on hallucination. And person A is hallucinating of a tiger jumping here and there. Okay, so now you as the medical doctor or the psychiatrist, what do you sense? The person is crying, oh, there's a tiger there, please save me, okay, help me. So what is your response? What impression you get? Oh, now he or she is hallucinating. He's hallucinating, right? Okay. Are you seeing the tiger jumping here and there? You're not seeing the tiger jumping here and there. Do you know that appearance of tiger jumping here and there is happening to this person? Right? You know that tiger jumping here and there is happening. The appearance of the tiger jumping here and there is happening to the patient's mind. So this appearance, do you know this appearance? Yes, you know this appearance. This appearance, how does that appear? This appearance come into being by your mental projection or by the patient's projection? Patient's projection, not your projection. Right? You know the appearance of the tiger jumping here and there, but this you did not project it. You know that this is his mental projection. So the patient projects it, but the patient projects in such a way that it is seen as so real. Right? So when you project it, the problem is that it is seen as so real. Project meaning, okay, this is very important. I'd like to share this with you. Say project, okay. Project has a connotation. Your mind is a projector, yes? Project means you project something. What is projected should be separated from your projector. The moment those two are separated from your mind, that becomes object or the subject? Object, right? So that object should appear to you, right? You project it and that object should appear to you. So that object which you project appearing to you is the object appearing objectively. Say this flower, you project it. How did you project it? Did you project it with the same level as your eyes, or you project it a little away from your eyes? Little away from the eyes. Little away from your eyes means that there's something there which your eyes are looking at. Right? Look at which your eyes are looking at, that becomes objectively appearing. The object is the object real. So therefore you project something, you project it as object real. Now this is extremely important concept, but even if you don't get it fully at the moment, don't worry too much. I'm just sharing this, and slowly we must get to understand. The moment we project it, the moment our mind projected, we project it with the distance in space, distance in time. Either distance in space or distance in time, if that is, say what, the non-composite phenomena. And non-composite phenomena, they're projected on the top of the a composite phenomena. You getting it? So composite phenomena that you project it in space and in time. And all non-composite phenomena you project them tied with the composite phenomena. So composite phenomena you project it with this difference in the separation in space and in time. So this space and time, which means that there's something there, right? There, separated by space and time. There means that it is not me. Me, subject, is the object from the object. So the moment you project, you already project things as objective real. So therefore, say the duality has many connotations. Duality, one is the subject-object duality. Other one is the duality of the conventional truth. Number three is the duality of the inherent existence. Right? For us, when we project conventional reality, we create objective reality also. And then when we create the objective reality, subject-object duality automatically arises. So for us, these three are happening simultaneously. For us, these three things are happening simultaneously. Projecting conventional realities, projecting conventional duality, projecting the duality of the inherent existence, projecting the duality of the subject-object duality, conventional duality, and the duality of inherency. These three things. Inherency.
Vishla, what it means, duality of inherency?
Objective, inherent existence. So the moment you see something is inherent existent, there's a duality there. Right? Okay. Inherent meaning that I am seeing you and you are inherently there, right? You are not me, I am not you. Automatically two is created. Inherent, two is created, duality is created. And the subject-object duality automatically. And then they say any projection of conventional truth. Buddhas don't project things. For Buddhas, conventional truth appears. Conventional truth appears. For us, how the conventional truth appears. For us, how the flower appears. And for the Buddhas, how the flower appears. Don't forget it. This is the difference. Same appearance of the tiger jumping here and there to the patient and to the psychiatrist is different. Okay, let me say this again. Okay, say you are the psychiatrist and I'm the patient. I'm the one who's hallucinating. So I started shouting, oh, okay. In fact, I remember that was now like 30 years ago, 32, 33 years ago, when I was in class 10. Okay, now this English expression? What's the English expression? The cat is coming out of the bag? Huh? Huh? Cat is coming out of the bag. Now no problem, 30 years gone. Right? 30 years gone. Okay, but still there's a little problem. It's like denigrating the school. Okay. We were in class 10 and there was one boy. It was, I think, in the evening, like it was closer to the board exam, class 10 board exam. This boy started to scream. And scream of what? He was screaming, I could see the hell, please help, I could see hell realm. Screaming so loudly, and all the young boys, we were in the whole boys' hostel, we were so scared, what's happening, he must have gone crazy. And then the innocent boys, right, they started to put some incense, burn incense around him. Right? Oh, but guess what is happening? Anyone guess? Oh, you're very generous. Huh? Anyone?
He was possessed by some spirit.
possessed by spirits, so very generous.
He was joking.
Not joking, not joking. Anyone else?
He was scared of exams.
Scared of exams, very generous. Anyone else? Hallucination, very generous. Hallucination, yes. Because of what? Scared of exams? Or possessed by demons? Huh? Then I already gave you a clue. There's some of the innocent boys, they're burning incense to, to what? Dispel the evil forces. I said innocent boys. There's a clue, right? Okay, did you get a clue? Why? Now tell me why. Why was he screaming? What's the reason? No doubt hallucination happening. Why? You did not get which means that you're so innocent yourself. Right? He took drugs. Hallucinating drugs. We did not know that. We did not know that. We were not at all expecting such things. Right? And he was screaming, I could see help, please help, please. Screaming, then whining, then all the boys they do not know what to do, and some more innocent ones, not all innocent, all were very innocent. Some of the more proactive ones, they go to burn incense to remove the drugs. Burn incense to remove the drugs, to dispel the drugs, right? To burn incense. Okay, then, what is that? Okay, so imagine that, okay, somebody, you are the psychiatrist, and you come to know that, okay, he is hallucinating. I could say, okay, the person is hallucinating. Okay, tell me. Are you seeing, are you not seeing, do you know, do you sense that there's appearance of the hell realm happening?
Yes.
You as the psychiatrist. Oh, now he is having the appearance of the, it's not really hell realm, but he is having the appearance of the hell realm, right? Okay. So this appearance of hell realm, who's projecting it? Your mind is projecting it, or he's projecting it? He is projecting it, right? Not you, but you know. So how you know the appearance of the hell realm is synonymous to, not really synonymous, is the metaphor for analogy for the Buddha seeing the conventional truths. Your mind does not project it, but you have the appearance of that appearance. Likewise, the Buddha's mind sees this flower, sees the flower, but does not project the flower. Whereas this boy, right, boy has the appearance of the hell realm, right, has the appearance of hell realm. Not only has the appearance of hell realm, the appearance of hell realm was projected by his own mind. You're getting it? So, how the flower appears to us is how the appearance of the hell realm appears to the hallucinating boy. Not only the appearance of the hell realm appears, this boy has the, not only this boy has the appearance of the hell realm, he also projects the hell realm. Likewise, not only we have the appearance of the flower, we also project the flower. You getting it? This is the difference. Whereas the psychiatrist does not project the appearance of the hell realm, but does have the appearance of the hell realm. Okay, so this is the difference. So when you project it, and then automatically, the moment you project it, you see this objectively real. Okay. Okay, anyway, we have to finish these two. This part. Where are we now? Okay, in the middle of this second last paragraph, page 141. Although the aggregates and so forth do not appear to the Buddha's exalted nor varieties through it being polluted or through it being contaminated, but the latencies of ignorance, since they do appear to other persons knowers, since they do appear, which appear, the aggregates and so forth, they appear to other persons knowers. Who are other persons? Sentient beings. sentient beings' knowers, sentient beings' minds, which are contaminated or polluted, contaminated by ignorance. Therefore, they must appear to the Buddhas. Buddhas, because the non-appearance to them is not feasible. Anything that exists should necessarily appear to the Buddha's mind. Non-appearance is not permissible. In that, if conventionalities exist, they must be observed, or they must appear to the exalted knower of the varieties. Right? In other words, what is being said here, if you know this much, is good enough. This passage, say how the conventional truth appears to the sentient beings is through the contamination of the ignorance. How the aggregates and so forth appear to the Buddha's mind is not through the contamination of the ignorance. Then, if the flower aggregate and so forth that appear, they appear through the latencies of the imprints, or to us imprints, then it is our appearance, not the Buddha's appearance. That's true. So we project it, and the Buddha knows that we project it. So the Buddha also has the appearance of the aggregate and so forth, but the Buddha's mind does not project it. You're getting it? This is how the Buddha's mind sees the aggregate and so forth, not through the contamination of his own mind, but the way it is seen by the sentient beings. Like the way the hallucination is seen by the hallucinating mind, hallucinating person, the psychiatrist knows that. Okay, if you know this, it's good enough. The next, yes. Yeah.
So, Geshe-la, you said that the flower appears, also the objectively existent flower appears.
Huh?
And then you said for the Buddha, they see the appearance of the flower.
They have the appearance of the flower.
They have the appearance of the flower, but they don't have the appearance
of the
objectively existent flower. And I'm not clear why.
Okay, I did not say they do not have the appearance of the objective existence of the flower. They do have. They have the appearance of the. They have the appearance of the objective existence of the flower, right? But they don't have the objective existence appearing to them. Objective existence does not exist because therefore it does not appear. Appearance of the objective existence exists, so therefore the appearance of the objective existence exists and appear to the Buddha. Yes, Lugeshi?
So Geshe-la, since we already started questions, so I thought I might also...
It's not me, it's not.
So we are working in this example, Buddha's mind, seeing the sentient being's mind, and then the flower is being seen, sort of thing, appearing, right? That mind itself being a composite phenomena, how does that Buddha then apprehend that or appear to that appearance of my mind as an projecting mind,
yes,
that also being a composite phenomenon,
yes,
that also must be known to Buddha,
yes,
and appear to Buddha as a non-objective thing. So how does that work then?
Say, Lokesh's mind is seen by Lokesh's first moment of the mind is seen by the Lokesh's second moment of the mind. This is how Lokesh's mind. Okay, anyway, to you, Lokesh's some part of the mind projects other part of the mind, right? And then the Buddha's mind sees your mind seeing that, your mind projecting that. Or Lokesh's mind is projected by your family member's mind. So Buddha's mind sees that, okay, this is Lokesh's mind, which is nothing but projected by her family members' minds. Yeah.
So Geshe-la, I read in some book that Buddha sees the world through the eyes of the sentient beings. Would that be a good summary of what we have just discussed? Exactly.
Okay, yes, Gidala. Oh, Gidala, you must speak through the mic.
In the analogy that the psychiatrist looking at the person hallucinating, he can only see the person is hallucinating, but he doesn't really know what he's hallucinating. But Buddha directly sees the mind.
Very true. This is a very good question. So, how does the psychiatrist know that the person's hallucinating, having the hallucination of the tiger jumping here or there, is like the way we inferred that this boy, oh, I can see the hell realm, right? So through his words, we could infer that, okay, now he must be, must be terrified by having the appearance of this. It's not really hell realm, it's the appearance of hell realm. So this is how we infer. Psychiatrists also infer, right? Whereas from this inference, the point is we are picking up that as the example. From the example, we are not to take every part of the example, because the psychiatrist is 31 years old, say for the Buddha is also 31 years old, and he ate chapati afternoon, so therefore the Buddha also ate chapati, this must be or maybe then which water he drank, from the filter or from the tap water. We don't have to go through all the details. We pick up the aspect which is directly related to the example, on the basis of which we want to know the real concept. So in this case, just as the psychiatrists know what kind of appearance hallucinations happening, not directly, but know something, likewise the Buddha knows all phenomena which were being projected by the sentient being's mind. If this much, if you can know in the form of the analogy, that is good enough. Don't go too much. Yeah. Okay, yes.
Krishna, what happens to the non-prasangika's view where there is some objective existence from the side of the object? Then when the Buddha sees nothing, then in a way it's venerating all existence?
Okay, so this says we are mixing the Prasangika's view and the lower school's view. So here are the saying, if we say Chiddamatra view, Chiddamatra, not seeing anything is seeing the reality. So this is Chiddamatra will explain it in its own ways. Not seeing anything doesn't mean that not seeing anything is purely projected by the mind. Chiddamatra will not say that. We'll say that not seeing the externality is seeing the reality of the object. Right? So externality is nothing but our mind projects. There's nothing there is external there. So not seeing the externality is seeing the absence of the externality, seeing the ultimate reality. So this is how the schools, they differ in their position. Yes, Nareshji?
Again, conventionalities are by definition deceptive.
Very good.
So, in the last line, we say to them it is not feasible in that if conventionalities exist, they must be observed by the exalted knower. Now, for a Buddha, is it a conventionality? It's not deceptive.
Okay, so the conventionalities are deceptive, yes. Deceptive doesn't mean it does not exist.
But does it exist as a conventionality for the Buddha? It may be a locus. It may be a locus within which to locate the ultimate nature. But
so the conventionalities exist. They appear to the Buddha, and they exist as conventionalities, not as ultimate to the Buddhas. And they are deceptive. And the Buddha does not see it deceptively. They see the deceptive, they don't see it deceptively. We see it deceptively. We see the deceptive deceptively.
Haven't they ceased to be deceptive to the Buddha? Yeah.
They will not cease to be deceptive because they are deceptive. Not being deceptive is the reality of the deceptive objects.
Again, when the Prasangikas say that your conventionalities, we never accepted that they were inherently existent.
Yes.
So this would be the situation here too.
Yes, of course.
So then,
so the Buddha doesn't see things as inherently real. Buddha sees the flower, doesn't see the inherently existing flower. This flower which the Buddha is seeing is deceptive. So the Buddha is seeing a deceptive object.
Would it be deceptive? Because if I see a flower and I don't see it as inherently existent, it has no propensity to deceive me.
Okay, no, it does not deceive you, it is deceptive. Deceptive doesn't mean that it will deceive you. Right? If you know that they say person A who always tells lies, and you know that this person is a liar, right? So you are seeing the liar, but the liar cannot tell a lie to you, deceive you. Okay, yes, Tejala.
Geshe-la, I have two parts to my question. One is that we said that within convention there can be contradictions because the convention exists subjectively, it's coming from the mind. But emptiness also exists subjectively, and there is no contradiction for emptiness. So this part, how to reconcile. And the second part of my question is that while there are some contradictions within convention,
what contradictions are there?
Like driving on the left lane or on the right lane.
This is a contradiction? Let's say that, okay, with respect to 10 years old child, 40 years is very old, right? Right? And with respect to 70 years old person, 40 years is very young. You getting it? You remember what I shared?
Yes.
When I was like 10 years old, I discovered the age of one teacher who was in his 30s. Very old. Then slowly I became 30, I crossed 30. I was in my 40s. And then I met a professor who was the very senior professor, another vice chancellor introduced me to the professor, that elderly, the professor, maybe age 70s. She saw me, the vice chancellor must have told the professor that I'll introduce the director, new director of Tibet House to you. And the director came, new director came, and the professor, young director, he was in his 40s. Young director, right? So when somebody in teen looks at somebody in 30, very old. Somebody from 70, you look at you, they're young director, very young. You're getting it? So the point is that, say, there's not a contradiction. There's no contradiction. But if you discard the subjectivity, then this is a contradiction. Because the same object cannot be young and old at the same time. But with respect to two different subjects, it can be young, it can be old. Okay, Logesh, do you have a question?
Geshe-la, what is the distinguishing point between nihilistic point of view and an Arya being's equipoise in meditation?
Okay. So by the way, the question, the one actually which Tejala asked, there's one question which is very challenging, and she did not picked up that part. She picked up the easy one. I'm saved. I'm very happy. Thank you. You picked up. You actually, brought two questions. One part is very complicated, and you did not pick that up. Thank you. I'm saved. Okay, I'm saved. Thank you. Okay, now going back to Logesh's question. What is your question?
What distinguishes?
Okay, nihilism versus how the Arya being sees the reality of the object. Okay, good question. Arya beings, okay, we project the dream, and the one who has woken up There's nothing there as the dream tiger. Nothing is really there, right? They are seeing the emptiness of the dream tiger, or they are seeing the emptiness of the tiger, and we are seeing the dream. You are seeing the dream, and we see the dream tiger. And we see it as a tiger. Okay, how does the Arya being seeing the emptiness directly is different from having a nihilistic view that the flower doesn't exist, nihilism, and the Arya being said that the flower amidst millions of atoms, the flower is empty. So how do you distinguish these two? Okay, this is a very serious question, very important question. In other words, how do you distinguish emptiness from nihilism? What the Arya being sees is the emptiness, and the nihilist view, what it sees is not the emptiness, it's seeing the nihilism. It's not seeing the middle way. Emptiness is to see the nihilism. How do you distinguish the two? Is that we have to follow two questions. The first question, do things exist? Answer is yes. If you say yes, if you say no, nihilism. There's nihilism. So Arya beings will never say no. Arya beings meditative voice. If you ask them, do things exist? They will say, of course, yes. Right? Second question, do things exist objectively? Then if you say no, that is the understanding of emptiness. This is not the understanding of nihilism. So the Arya beings, when they don't see anything in their experience, it is not no to the first question. What they are seeing is seeing no to the second question.
Okay, so in this example of falling hair, they're not seeing falling hair. This example does not apply to the...
Of course it applies. It applies so well with the Arya beings. But part of this does not apply to the Buddha's perception. Therefore, all these discussions, Buddha's from the point of view in the ultimate, conventional, all these explanations come into being in order to solve this problem. Okay, more questions? If not, then because this is little technical, I don't want to rush through too much, right? Because again we have another little over one page to go through. We'll stop here for today. You have a question, Dipeshla? Yes.
I'll try and articulate it. Can we say that ultimate truth is way of purification, removing all the obscuration? It's the ultimate truth which realization of emptiness is what leads to purification, removal of that statement one. Statement two, a person becomes a Buddha to help sentient beings. So it's like I've been wondering why a Buddha needs to access the ultimate truth. After becoming a Buddha, the only way you can help is by accessing the varieties. So Buddha is always in accessing the two truths together. But to benefit, it's always the varieties, conventional.
Okay, let us put it like, if you don't have the access, if one does not have the access to ultimate truth.
I'm saying that for the path, ultimate truth is required. After one becomes a Buddha, is there a need to access the ultimate truth? Because one becomes a Buddha to benefit beings.
So you have a mind. When you become Buddha, you have a mind. The mind should either see inherent existence or see the absence of inherent existence. There's no choice.
Okay.
So if you don't see the absence of inherent existence, you have to see inherent existence. Then it is back to square one.
Okay.
Right? One. Number two is that it is not that the Buddha has to. The point is that the mental stains are gone. The stains are gone, then the mind stains block you from getting access, meaning to be in one with the reality. Not being one in the reality is ignorance. So When the states are gone, automatically you become one with the reality. Your mind merges with the reality. What's the reality? Emptiness. Right? So therefore, this is what is known as the mind. The Buddha's mind is always merged with, non-dualistically merged with emptiness. And from the ordinary people's perception, sentient beings' perception, we call it, this is known as the having direct access to emptiness. It simply means that it is just experienced the bare reality, that's it.
But if I look at it from the other perspective, like the flower appears, there is a flower, and my mind superimposes the objective existence. So to the Buddha, flower will appear as a flower. I think that's what Nareshi question was kind of hinting at, that flower appears as a flower. And if Buddha has access to this directly 24/7, he or she can help any being, not only flower, sentient being's mind, and everything appears.
Of course.
So if I take it from this perspective, then I do not see the benefit of the ultimate truth.
No, it's not the benefit or not benefit. The point is that the Buddha's mind has to flow to every atom, every single mind of the sentient beings have to flow so perfectly. For that flow, nothing should impede that. What impedes that is appearance and the apprehension of the object reality. These two impede the mind from flowing freely. When the mind flow freely means these two are not there. These two are not there means you are in the opposite of these two. Opposite of these two is no appearance of objective existence. When there's no objective appearance of objective existence, this is what conventionally is known as having direct experience of emptiness. Yes.
This question is related to terminology. Mode of existence. Is it always necessary? Like I can say mode of existence of things is 100% subjective. The other way is mode of existence is empty of objective existence. I mean, one I'm positing something, one I'm negating something. So I'm not clear in terms of terminology, mode of existence. Is it necessarily used with ultimate truth or positing something like 100% subjective existence? Would that be correct if I say mode of existence is 100% subjective?
Okay, this is a very good question. Say, the flower exists or not? Yes. How does the flower exist? When I say how does the flower exist, we're analyzing the mode of existence. You're getting it? Mode of existence. So when I say, what is the mode of existence of the flower? Or how does this flower exist? Answer can be twofold. The flower exists as empty of objective existence, or the flower exists as subjectively real. Two answers. Okay, now, of the two answers, the flower exists as subjectively real. This is conventional truth. The flower exists as empty of objective existence. This is ultimate truth. So the mode of existence, when you speak about what is the final mode of existence, and ultimate truth, these two are synonymous. You're getting it? So this is a very important question, very good question. Ultimate truth, mode of existence, and ultimate truth, these two are synonymous. If these two are synonymous, then the flower existing subjectively, 100% subjectively, cannot be the mode of existence. Because this is conventional truth. It's not ultimate truth. The flower being empty of objective existence, that is the ultimate truth. That is the mode of existence. The question, how is it that the flower existing 100% subjectively, how come that this is not the mode of existence? Why do we have to say that these two are interchangeable? That the flower is empty of objective existence, that the flower is 100% subjective existence, these two are interchangeable. While these two are interchangeably the reality, why only the emptiness of objective existence is what we call as the mode of existence, and why not the flower existence subjectively or 100% subjectively is a mode of existence? This is a extremely important question. Don't forget it. Don't forget it. You're getting it? So one is the mode of existence, and more precisely, final mode of existence. Right? Okay. Let's say that analogy was given by Acharya Chandrakirti already. Say, I have the hallucination, and then the hallucination is not very severe hallucination, maybe like say 20% hallucination, not like this boy, right? So when you are into 100% hallucination, no matter what the other person tells you, you will not trust that person. Whereas if the hallucination is like 20%, oh, I'm seeing something, then you say, okay, no. Did you go to pubs? Yes. Okay, how much pack did you have? Only one pack. Okay, which means you have something because of this pack, right? I say, okay, I'm lucky that I'm not seeing something. This is the pack effect, right? The effect of this pack. Okay, which means that, so now, do you know the reality? You know the reality. Yes, it's just hallucination. The reality, what I'm seeing is not really there, right? Whereas you did not touch a pack. So therefore, what you know is that there is no tiger jumping. What I know is there is no tiger jumping, but I still continue to see it. I don't trust this. For you, you don't trust the tiger jumping, plus you don't have the appearance of tiger jumping. Which of the two? I'm seeing the reality, you're also seeing meaning, I know the reality, you also know the reality. Which of the two knowledge is purer? Yours one or mine one? Yours one is purer, right? Mine one is affected by the appearance of the non-reality. You getting it? So therefore, the point is that the subjectivity. So in my case, subjectivity is happening. In your case, subjectivity is not happening, right? So where the subjective projection is not happening, that perception is the ultimate perception. So where subjectivity is happening, 100% subjective means subjectivity is happening. Subjectivity is happening, that does not reflect the final reality. Right? Okay. So it is like in the monastic universities, right? These questions will be more discussed by the monks. Okay, in my case, the monks who are already into this, the mathematics after 10 years, and then after that, like another, let's say like 5 plus, after 10 years plus 5 years, they keep reflecting on these, right? So they, instead of just asking these questions, they reflect on these questions themselves. Amongst themselves, they discuss, these questions come, they keep reflecting, okay, these things are happening. So what's it? So what we're discussing here is more happening on the reflective form in a monastic, academic monastic, the monks, and then nowadays the nuns also. Yeah, we're very good. Any more questions?
The mode of existence we should not use with 100% subjective existence.
No.
It should be
okay. Now, in a loose sense, yes.
In a loose sense, yes.
In a loose sense, yes. And if you want to make it politically correct, then you say it the final mode of existence.
Yes. Then definitely not.
Definitely not. But keep in mind that we must know the concept so well, and with usage of the vocabularies. What vocabularies we use? English. And English is not the original language of this concept. So English is a borrowed language, because of which they say one should know the concept so precisely, and with the usage of the vocabulary, one should be very sympathetic in terms of how the other person uses the vocabulary. Don't just argue directly. First, be a good listener, because the vocabulary other person uses, and what you're using may not be tallying perfectly. So you be a good sympathizer, listen to the other person, and then according, okay, he's using this word, so meaning this. On that basis, then you can have the discussion. Otherwise, whereas in Tibetan, you don't worry about that part. Tibetan and Sanskrit, you don't worry about that part, because these two languages, how they came into being, and particularly what I would say that the Sanskrit, with that language, in that language, then the Buddha appeared, and the Buddha conceived all these ideas with this language, Pali language, and Avabramsha, and what is that other one? Hey. No, there's one is Avabramsh, Prakrit, yes. Prakrit, Avabramsh, Sanskrit, Pali, right? So where these languages are alive, the Buddha conceived these ideas there. Had it been the case that the Buddha, right, became enlightened in England or in America, right, then he will express all, because his thoughts are very original, and he is having these thoughts in a language. What language? That he was born with, in English. That would be perfect, right? Whole concept in English, it will become very standard. So Sanskrit, the benefit of it. And the Tibetan, although the Buddha was not born in Tibet, but still the Tibetan is very standard because of the kings, they use the power to standardize, right? Now, we cannot impossible to standardize things. For example, if His Holiness the Dalai Lama, under His Holiness the Dalai Lama, if you start some kind of translation, the committee, people love His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So therefore, this committee, people will start it as very standard. But there are some translators, mischievous translators, who may not be too happy with this group. So they will do their own free translation, right? So there's no rules and regulations to say that any translation coming up other than this group will be banned, not allowed. So therefore, so the point is that for us still, this is not a problem. What I'm saying is that in English you can learn the Buddha Dharma completely. This is what I'm saying. Completely. The point is, simply by reading the books, you will not get the complete answer. You have to interact with the teachers, you have to interact with yourself, you have to study, reflect, meditate, right? Receive teachings and so forth. Only then all these concepts will get you complete. But the power of the language still is limited. Power of the language is still limited because you write a book, after you get the full understanding of the Dharma, full complete understanding of Dharma, in the language, in the English language, and you write a book and you pass it down. Later on, the next generation will not understand it fully. Whereas with the Tibetan, because it is standardized in such a way that anybody, even in the future, they read it, they will understand in the same way, the way the original person drafted, right? This is the difference. Okay. A
related question, Geshe-la, in relation to Dipeshna's question. Is it that the isolate that comes to mind when we say empty of objective existence more directly points to a non-affirming negative phenomena, and when we say subjectively real, it is not so directly pointing to a non-affirming negative? Is such a thing true in Tibetan or Sanskrit, or this is the incorrect answer?
No, it's same. It's the same. Same. Now the point, the question still remains that the empty of objective existence, that is the final mode, and the subjective existence is not the final mode. Why? Because the empty of objective existence, this is a non-affirming negative, and final mode should be non-affirming negative. The question is why? Why should be the non-affirming negative? Although distinction is there, One is positive phenomena, one is negative, non-affirming negative, and the final mode of existence should always be non-affirming negative. But why? Why should it be non-affirming negative? Right? So for this, we have to go deeper. Yes, Nareshi?
Press the button.
There's something I haven't understood again. You said earlier, which is I think from a sutra, to see the ultimate is to see nothing.
No.
What is the line?
Not seeing anything is the seeing. So this is the main expression. Form is empty.
Yes.
Emptiness of
Form
form.
is empty. So I take this as one part, and the other part, the fourth line of this says a Buddha's exalted wisdom necessarily knows them through their appearing.
Yes.
So, is something so seeing now seeing the ultimate and seeing nothing and something appearing? How is this compatible then?
Seeing nothing is nihilism.
We're not seeing nothing. What was, I'm sorry, I forgot the quote which you made.
Okay, don't quote the quote.
Yeah.
The quote, if you want to quote it with the commentary.
Okay.
Don't quote form is empty. Form does not exist. Because the quote, Buddha said, form is empty.
Okay,
don't quote like this.
Okay.
That means form is empty of objective existence. Form does exist. Form is not empty. Form is empty of objective existence.
Okay.
Likewise, right? Okay, good. Okay, we will stop here with the quick dedication prayer. (278). In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All powerful, generous, Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. Hare Rave Gorve Jingam Temban Dewa Mandu Chumbe Ne Chere Senwa Tenzin Gyatso Shabe Sede Bardo Dengyuroji. Just as a brave magician summoned by the true Vyanas thinks as they are, also added to all these merits in the best way that I may follow their perfect example. Jambala Bava Chitara Kemba Tam Gundo Sambo Deyan Dejin Keda Gunge Jason Dalobjin Gewa De Datam Jirabdu. I dedicate all these rules of virtue with the dedication praise is the best, but the victorious ones thus gone over 3 times, so that I might perform the noble Bodhisattva's deeds. Duzum Jebe Gyawa Tamjege Awa Kala Chodo Abad Age Gebe Zawa Digun Gyan Sambo Jeje Rabdo Baraki. May the Supreme Bodhicitta that is not erase and arise and grow, and may that which is arisen not diminish but increase forevermore. Chanjo Semjo Rembo Che Magya Bonam Ke Gyorochi Ke Vanyamba Nebaya Kone Kondo Pemaraishu. As long as space remains, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of Guru Buddha and lead all beings without exception into that enlightened state. I dedicate the merits thus gathered towards the realization, the deeds and the prayers of all the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas of the 3 times, and to the upholding of the Dharma of the teaching and realization. May I in all life, through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the Mahayana vehicle, and accomplish all the stations of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect in the 2 stages. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. The path of union of emptiness and compassion is lucidly explained by the protector of Buddha Dharma and the beings of the snowland. With the Lord is all the Tenzin Gaso, we supplicate you that you wish to fulfill spontaneously. Onye Yenje Zondo Jobelam, Shejere Sense Kanje Dendrugun, Chana Bemo Tenzin Shindu Nundro Sho. May the operations, the evil thoughts and deeds of the negative forces who have managed through perverted prayers against the teachings of the Buddhas be totally vanquished through the path of the truth of the rituals. Olam lobe gyawa demba na kuwe na jo so chen so me de sam jora nyemba juba maluba cho som dembe zene chu guru chi. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, may enjoy the magnificent dharma by completing the qualities of the stations and the paths. May I could attain the Sura Vajradhara. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the Magishri and be able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings that depend on it in particular, even in the course of my life. Okay, good night.